SMT Media Network is back with another video, this one on the Brooklyn Nets. Folks, the Nets are a terrible team. They are just not good. I mean, they've got a couple of nice, young, talented players, but collectively as a team, they don't win a lot of games. And some of these games, I mean, I haven't seen that many games of the Nets. I've watched a couple this year, and very constantly when I'm scoreboard watching, I mean, they lose often. All right, let's take a look at this most recent loss to the LA Clippers, who are an okay team. They're fine, right? They've been without Kawhi Leonard for most of the year. They traded Paul George. What did he go as a free agent? I think he was traded. But anyways, they have the Clippers are decent. They're a good team. They're fine, right? The Brooklyn Nets are a train wreck. Like, some of these outcomes are awful. They lost the game 126-67. That differential is absurd. To lose that way is just next level tomfoolery. All right, they hung in there in the first quarter. They were outscored by 23 points in the second quarter. Oh, but there's more. They were outscored by 28 points in the third quarter. And they were outscored by 8 in the fourth. That's how you lose by almost 60 points. To make things worse, your defense obviously is pretty porous when you're giving up 37 in the second quarter and 44 in the third quarter. But to make matters worse, you're not really competitive. They scored 21 points in the first quarter, but then followed that up with 14 in the second, 16 in the third, and then 16 in the fourth. The Nets' offense yesterday was absolutely anemic and terrible. Here's your scoring output from your starters. Zaire Williams, 4 points. Noah Clowney, 4 points. Nick Claxton, 2 points. Tyrese Martin, 8 points. And then Keon Johnson got you 6. And that was from your starters. Now, the starters didn't play that many minutes. Some did. Tyrese Martin played 37, right? But your bench was cleared early. They got their bench a lot of minutes. So Jalen Wilson got you 16 points in 34 minutes of action. I'm looking at the bench. I mean, they got some run. 4 guys got 20 or more minutes off the bench. For the Clippers, Kawhi scored 23 on 8 of 11 shooting in 24 minutes. That's a very, very efficient night for him. 7 of 7 in free throws on a turnover, got a steal. James Harden had a decent night, 21 points in 23 minutes, 6 for 6 from the line, 3 of 5 from 3, 6 of 10 overall shooting. And then Amir Coffey got you 13 off the bench. But Norman Powell, to round out the starters, 18 points. Zubac got you 11, in 22 minutes. All right, but I'm kind of looking at, some of the Nets' problems. I mean, they didn't have their guys, right? Like Cam Johnson didn't play with an ankle injury, and then D'Angelo Russell, it says right shin contusion. That seems pretty weak, but I mean, a contusion just basically means he bumped his shin, But that's pretty much it. This is just an awful outcome to the game. That is terrible. Let's take a look at the Nets' kind of near-term outlook after their loss to the Clippers, their embarrassing loss to the Clippers. They got a game against the Lakers. They got a game against the Thunder. They're not gonna. They're not competing with those guys. They got a game against the Knicks, and then the Suns, the Heat, Kings, Hornets to kind of round out the month of January. And then they got the Rockets back-to-back to start off February. There's a couple winnable games. Like, they could beat the Hornets potentially. I don't think they'll beat the Kings or the Heat or the Suns or the Knicks or the Thunder. Could they surprise and beat the Lakers? Maybe. The Lakers are really, really possible, capable of having a letdown game. But guys, this team, the Nets, they're 14-27. It is an awful team, and when they don't have their best offensive players, you see that they can lose pretty badly. I don't make a lot of content or videos on the Nets, but after that atrocious loss, that disparity, that margin of loss, that's really embarrassing. I know they didn't have D'Lo. I know they didn't have Cam Johnson. But for an NBA team to only be able to score 67 points in an NBA game, in a league where the averages are like 120 points a game, that's pretty tough. That's real tough. It's going to be a long season for these Nets. They're absolutely hot garbage.